after we do our roundtable, we're going to have our guest speaker, which is Randy Grauberger, and he's going to be talking to us about the Amtrak Southwest Chief Train. I'd like to thank all of our chamber board members. Can you raise your hand for those that are here? Let everyone see who we've got. Same with our ambassadors. Raise your hands. And our office and volunteers. Thank you all. We cannot do what we do without you guys. So thank you so much for all the time and the effort that you put into our community and to make our chamber a very stronghold within the community to help our businesses. I don't have a microphone to walk around the room with, so as I come around to your table, just talk a little bit louder, and maybe we'll be a little quieter to listen. Did you have anything you wanted to say today? Okay.
Would you like to start? So, I'm Jennifer Sanchez McDowell. I'm here on behalf of my fiscal agent, the Los Alamos Pocono County District Health Department. One thing is they have free DTaP shots. So if you have a shot and you kind of forgot about it, they're free. So come to the health department, make an appointment for our free DTaP shots. They're at both Pocono and Los Alamos County Health Departments. And then lastly, on June 25th, which is next week from 9 to 12, they are doing free health screenings, which include a cholesterol panel, A1C, blood pressure, and pre-diabetes screening. It takes 15 minutes, but you need to make an appointment. 846-2213. Thank you. Anybody else here? I'll take the mic.
Trinidad School District number 1 is proud to announce that next month in July, we will be sponsoring the Chamber of Commerce
I
Lunch.
usually do it on my birthday. I'm at my day.
I also have a wonderful news. State School Board of Education officially awarded Trinidad School District number 1 a $15 million grant to renovate the middle school. We have to come up with a board. Last year, we were in the queue and weren't officially awarded until we failed the bond, and then I had to give the money back. But this year, we do have it as of now, and we will be going for the $4.5 million bond match, hopefully with no tax increase. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Go ahead, Linda. Hi, Linda Perry here with Trinidad State Junior College, and I am so happy and excited to introduce our president of the college, who's just joined us 2.5 weeks ago, Dr. Rhonda Evans.
Thank you very much. I am absolutely thrilled to be here, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you and to learn more how the college can better support the businesses in this community. Just one little update. I learned just this last week that we have reached another level of approval for our new Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. It will go before the Higher Learning Commission's Institutional Action Committee on July 29th and 30th. The recommendation has been forwarded to approve the program, so we're fully expecting to receive that approval, and then we'll be launching the program next fall of 2020. So first bachelor's program for TSJC at Nursing Science.
Felix Lopez, County Commissioner. I want to invite all of you to go to the county fairgrounds and take a look at the adventure course. Looking at Mayor Rico, he and I mixed most of the semen that's holding those posts out there. So take your families, let's enjoy this summer and get some exercise.
It's really cool. Hi there. I never need a mic anyway.
Okay, so I have 12 hats, the first of which is I'm the voice of Trinidad, and if you're not familiar with it, it's a Facebook page, and I do a weekly broadcast on KRTN of all the events in the community, and then I take that and I make a list, and it's 17 pages long. So I update it every week. You can print it off, put it on your refrigerator. If you are not on Facebook, you
can email voiceoftrinidad@gmail, and then I will send it to you every week. So that's where you can find everything, but in particular, I wanna tell you, I'm sure we're gonna talk about Santa Fe Trail. Okay, so she'll talk about Santa Fe Trail, but the event that I'll be hosting at the Santa Fe Trail is I've been very fortunate in that I have 7 different organizations in the community who have all volunteered to sponsor a field day. And it'll be staggered every hour, and we have hot potato balloons, and sack races, and water balloon toss, and lots of different activities for kids. It'll be on the corner of Convent and Main, and that's mine, so I can put that. So also my hat is with the Historic Main Street Board, and the Historic Main Street Board has a 4th of July festival. So you will see flyers outside of the 4th of July festival itself, and there's all kinds of activities going from noon to 5, and afterwards is the triggers game and then fireworks. In particular, on that, there's a pie contest, apple pie, and last year we had 2 pies. And I know that we have lots of wonderful bakers in this community, and it is not just amateur. If you're a professional, you are more than welcome to enter as well. So please think about baking a pie and coming to the festival. And because Santa Fe Trail happens to follow the week before it, Santa Fe Trail also got an advertising campaign, and so the Historic Main Street Board calendar event goes all the way from June 28th all the way to July 6th, and it's all on one page, and you can find that on the Historic Main Street Board. You can print that off and put it on your calendar or refrigerator. Done.
I'm Mary Jo Watson. I am the president of the Trinidad Autism Awareness Group, and we are having our first annual fundraiser. We're having the Capelucci Brothers play at Jujo's at 7:30 Friday night. I do have tickets with me, so if you guys want to come and purchase them, they're $10 a piece or 18 a couple, and then there'll be 20 at the door and $12.50 at the door if you have some left. So please come and support. It's not just autism, it's all disabilities. We're working on a lot of different things, getting things out there, so please come and support us. Thank you.
I'm Kathy Bueno, and I'm the Director of Nursing for Mount Rose Hospice here in town. We have plans underway for our first annual Camp Forget Me Not. This will be a yearly day camp held for community children ages 6 to 12 who've lost someone they love to death. It'll be a day of fun activities and sharing, allowing them to realize that they are not alone in their grief. They will learn coping skills to deal with those feelings. They do not have to have been a part of hospice, as we know our community, unfortunately, has had a lot of loved ones left behind due to accidents and tragedies, and we want to be able to shine a little light on things for those who are struggling to deal with such a loss. Our date is set for August 9th, 2019, and more info will be publicized as we confirm things. If you want more information or are interested in volunteering with us, contact our office at 719-846-8478. We are also sponsoring a Relay for Life team, so if anybody would like to join a team, you can contact Jerry Lucero at our office and be a part of our team to help support Relay for Life. And also, we're always looking for volunteers to help in multiple levels of service for our patients in the community. We need a lot of people to work directly with patients, assisting in transportation and companionship, those kind of things. If you're interested or want more information, you can also contact Jerry for that. And again, the number is 846-8478. Thank you. Anybody else here?
I'm Julie Morris with SoCo Quick Clean. We've added a new service. If you sit on it, stand on it, or look through it, you can clean it now. Windows, both residential and commercial. No? What? Anybody here? Okay.
You know, before she goes, I do have some questions for her. She has a lot to say. My name is Bernard Small, and something happened on the way here that only happens in the movies. I laid my shirt out, and I got things ready to leave. Then, what you know, I jumped in my car, drove down from the char, and realized I left them on the chair at home. So I said to myself, WWGD. And I said, he would say, or she would say, come as you are. So here I am. But I'm also with Creekside Tavern, so Tinker Charlie. It's right next to the dog bar. And it's the neat thing about this tavern is that it's right on the creek, so you enjoy a nice wine or, aperitif, and just sit there, listen to the creek, and enjoy yourself.
Can we bring dogs at your place?
You may, yes. We have a huge backyard by the creek. You can run up and down the creek there.
Please share what.
Hi everyone, I am the office manager for the chamber. I'm the office manager for the chamber, and I wanted to let everyone know we're updating all of our information in our office so that we have accurate, up-to-date information for all of our members. So if you have business cards or events going on, we would like to have that so we can display that and hand it out to people that come in. So if you could either contact me or let me know today that you have information or give me the information, that would be fabulous. And as far as business cards go, maybe 20, 25, no more than that. I don't want boxes of business cards all over the office. So thank you guys, but we want to do the best we can at advertising you guys to our community. So please help us by giving us your information. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cindy Thielen. I'm the volunteer coordinator and community outreach coordinator with Sangre de Cristo Hospice. One thing that we have going on an ongoing basis is a caregiver support group. So if you have anyone that you know who is a caregiver and could use a little support, they have conversations, activities, and education about being a caregiver. It's the third Tuesday of every month at 1:30 over at our office, which is 1502 East Main. And the other thing I wanted to mention is we are doing our community art recycling project again this year for June and July. And what we do is we have anybody who has anything that they have at home that they're not wanting anymore that's art supply-ish, or actually anything at all that you got laying around. What we do is we go over to the youth center over with Sadie, and our kids go there our volunteers go there once a month, and we make crafts with the kids. And we do two things with the kids. They make something for a patient, and then they make something for themselves or their families. So we typically are looking for anything that's art project. You'd be surprised. Paints and paper and pens and pencils and anything you can think of. The kids actually get a little bit of education about what hospice is, and then they get to take home something. So if anybody has anything that they want to get out of their house, please feel free to give us a call and we'll come get it, or you can drop it off. Thanks so much.
Okay, so now I'm turning it over to Linda Barron, who is our host for today's luncheon, and take it away.
I got two things that I announced today is we have bingo tonight at Mount Carmel. The door open at 5:30. The game is start at 7 o'clock. So I'm gonna be there, and so we're gonna have fun. And if you're lucky, you might have some money in your pocket to go home with. So come and join us and have some fun. Another thing is I'm with the Kiwanis of Trinidad and a member. So the Kiwanis is doing the duck race for Saturday, June 29th. I think they let the duck down from Safeway to down to Commercial Bridge. And so I have ticket, it's $10 per ticket, and supporting the children. Thank you.
Oh. On the river. Okay.
Now we're another hat. We're doing the Santa Fe Trail Festival, and all you know that the Santa Fe Trail is 28th and 29th of June. At this time, I would like to thank the sponsor for this. We bring it back to downtown Trinidad. We have been over at the Central Park for the last 4 years, and this year is definitely no change. We don't care if it rain or snow or whatever, we're gonna have it. We would like to thank the City of Trinidad, The city has been grateful and been helpful and spent quite a bit of money to help us and give us the service that we need. We want to thank the Las Alamos County, the commissioner. They also help us with the equipment and thing that we need, table, picnic table, fence and chairs, and the thing that we don't have to go out and rent for that. We want to thank the Fargosi Farm. They are our, this is the gold sponsor. The one that I just mentioned is Fargosi Farm. And for the silver, we have Furlong Enterprise, and we have the KCRT, KBKZ, we have Evergreen Natural Resources, we have La Quinta, we have THCU, and we also have the Strong Arm. You know who I mean, right? Frank Azer. We have also Budweiser. Budweiser, it put a lot of money and do all the banner for us. We're gonna have the street banner. I think the city, Audrey told me, informed with me today, that they're gonna hang them up tomorrow, right on commercial, not commercial, but Animus. So thank you so much for the city to do all that work for us. We also want to thank the silver, now we have the Wagon Master. We want to thank the Little Stinker, Highland Health, Big Daddy Restaurant, Lucky Monkey Butt, J&M Tire, Twin Enviro Service, Majestic Fencing, Rental Station, the Chronicle New. We also want to thank the Trail Boss Level, Linda Alteration, Dry Cleaning, Mount Lincoln General Store, Farm Insurance, Diego Insurance, Babino Cafe, Colorado Floor and Line, Get Glow Glasswork, El Gas, Bank of the West, Mount St. Rapid Hospital, Century Saving and Loan, First National Bank, State Farm Insurance, Duran Oil. Our stock level is Mount Wonderful House, Pro Rehab, TLC Realtor, Glassy Accounting, Teamy Treat Me, Kami Funeral Home, Tony House. We also want to thank the last one that come with World Journal. And I want to thank a special person that working with me side by side is Mr. Tom David. Tom, would you stand? Will be the one to, he been putting a private Tom in to do, finish up the poster, and I call him middle of the night, said I need this, I need that, and I'm so surprised that he's still here and helping me. So thank you, Tom. And so is our office manager, Nisha. Thank you so much, sweetie. You know, put up with me, and we have a good committee that make things happen. It's not a one-person job, it's a teamwork effort. This teamwork is from everybody in this poster. We also want to thank KJ. She is out and do her leg work and get all the children event together and fun things. So as you can see, is we all have in the same common for the community. And we love you all, and it's gonna be fun. This is for the whole family. I always believe we take care of our people here in Trinidad, Los Alamos County. Then they will bring the tourists coming into our towns and our county. You agree with that? Because most of our children move away. You know what? I call my kid, I say, hey, we have Santa Fe Trail. Okay, Mom, we're gonna come down. So that is what we bring people back, you know, to our town. And if we have somebody else come from another state, that is a bonus. But we need to focus on our here at home. Thank you so much. Yes, KJ.
I wanted to tell you guys about a couple of events that are going on that are not necessarily on the poster. Phil Long is partnering with Trinidad Community Foundation and with Mount Carmel, and they're doing a bike course. It's not an obstacle course.
They have it divided into age ranges, and every kid who participates gets to put their name in a hat, and they're gonna draw 10 bikes at the end of the day. And that'll be at the The second one is to tell you about is at the Rotary Club. They will be hosting a pancake breakfast. It'll be in the beer garden before there's beer. So from 8 to 10, and then kids have to get kicked out at 10. And then the third thing is Touch a Truck will also be the same day, and Touch a Truck will be on Cedar Street, Elm Street. Okay, it'll be somewhere down there, cool. I heard it, at the, from the smokehouse, so, but Touch a Truck will be going on.
It's gonna be a lot of fun thing to do, so please let your family knows and to bring it down and support this. And we hope to continue to do this, you know, downtown Trinidad. This is our 39th year, the chamber doing this in 1980. So in that 39 years, I was involved for 13 years to doing the Santa Fe Trail. So I am so blessed and thank the chamber for allowing me and let me be part of it and learn experience through that 13 years that I've been with the chamber. Now that I'm going to talk about the Mount Liquor. June is a very special month for me. June 28, 1970, I left my country, Vietnam, with my 2-month-old baby and 2 days old to find a new life. So it's very, very special, especially when you live in a poverty, the country that fight all the time. You have to leave, you have to hide in the middle of the night. You know, you don't know where the gun coming from, so the bombs or grenades. Some in the middle of night, I have to hide under the bed. I don't know what the bed gonna do, but you know, that's just, you know, automatically think, oh, the bed will be safe. So count your blessing that you're born in this country, that you don't have to put up, you know, you don't have that experience. We live in California. We moved to Maryland because my husband was in the military. He was 21 years in the service. Then we moved back. We went to Korea, and then we moved back to California. I lived there for 13 years and never happy, you know, never feel like home. So one day I would find some newspaper and it say, Colorado land for sale, $500 an acre. That is pretty good for California. So I told my husband, okay, I'm taking a break, take a vacation, and we're gonna go to Colorado. We packed a kit and we came in 1983. And the land that was advertised, we find out that it was our Pinyon Canyon. So we went to the courthouse and asked them, where's that? And he said, you don't want to buy that because that's where they practice and shootings and hanging. So we went with the Big Pine Realtor. And Dave Shy is the one that took us around and showed us and different places, and we find 80 acres in Wet Canyon. We love it because people are so friendly, they wave to us, and I mean, you know, we go to Safeway and people can talk, and it's not in California. Sometimes you don't want to see your neighbor for 30 days. So, but I was sponsored three boys, two of my cousin and one of my brother, who left Vietnam on a boat. So I sponsored them. They were 16 and 18. So I want them to finish high school and before I can make the move. And they did. They came. They learned English. We don't speak Vietnamese because we want them to learn English. They came, and when they graduated, one of my brother was 3.75 and my other cousin was 4 point. And the older one was 18, so he went for mechanic, auto mechanic. So I'm very proud of them. And so when they finished, I said, okay, you guys on your own. I rent them a house, give them furniture, buy each of them a car. It's not a new car, but a used car. Pay 1 year insurance, put them enough money for 6 months, and I say, okay, I enroll them in college. And I say, now you're on your own. You have a wing now. You can fly. I'm going to Trinidad, Colorado, and that's how it began. Is in 1985. Bought the place, and that's where Mountain Liquor come from. It's a lot of work. I work day and night, from 8 o'clock until midnight. Close the store. We make ice, so I pack ice until 2 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock, take the ice and distribute about 7 different places. So it's work hard, and work hard will pay off. And so this month, the 28th, the same day, I picked that day to open the store, and this will be our 34-year anniversary for Mountain Liquor and the operation. This short, I want to say thank you to the community. I want to thank you to the American people. I want to thank you to Lost Smith County. Thank you to Trinidad. You welcome me with open arms, and I thank the good Lord to give me this opportunity to make it. I never thought that I would make this long, but because of you, that's why I'm still here, and I hope that I can still here for a few more years. I'm getting to be 68, close to 70, that I need to retire.
That's young, Linda.
And I make many friends, old friends, new friends. And what life for is my grandfather always told me, love, care, and sharing. You need to share, you need to love, and you have to care for one another. So thank you so much to allow me to be here to share my story. So God bless America. Thank you.
When did you open the bake shop and the alterations?
Huh?
When did you open the bake shop and the alteration shop?
Same time.
All at the same time?
Good afternoon, and thank you for coming today. Before I get started, I wanted to make sure that we recognize a couple of our council people that are here with us today. Councilman Bonato, Joe Bonato is here with us today. Councilwoman Michelle Miles. Commissioner Felix Lopez with us here as well today. Thank you for being here. It's important that you are here today to listen to our guest speaker. As you know, the Southwest Chief Amtrak, the Southwest Chief in particular, is in a very precarious position at this point. And we've been working diligently for the last few years to try to make sure that he continues to serve us in this area. So with us today, we have with us Randy Grauberger, who is the director, our director, of the Southwest Chief and Front Range Passenger Rail Commission. We hired him, I think it was in January, February sometime. And he is going to give us some really good information that I think, that I not really think, but I know that everyone is really wanting to hear today. So Randy, would you please come forward?
Well, thank you for inviting me down here, and I think it was at the end of our very first meeting before I and the mayor separated that day. He said, I want you to come down to the Chamber of Commerce meeting. He said, it's a bunch of fun people, and I can certainly attest to that. It looks like you guys don't shy away from having a good time. I hope you enjoyed my comments today, but trust me, what Linda just talked about is going to be a lot more relevant than, about what can happen in this country and the opportunities that we have. We just need to take advantage of those opportunities and understand that we are the fortunate ones. So, still getting my PowerPoint loaded up, looks like. I'll just mention right off the top that this is on one of the slides, but I have 11 bosses. I'm back again being a CDOT employee. I worked for CDOT for 28 and a half years, retired, went into the consulting industry for 14 years, and my wife just kept saying, "You're getting close to retirement, right?" And I said, "Yeah." Then this advertisement came out for this position, and I said, "But I got to try to get this." And fortunately, I was able to be selected by the commission to do this job. And but it looks like it has already had a little bit of an adverse effect. I had a pacemaker put in back in 2007, and every 6 months I go in and sit down with the doctor, and we mostly just talk about golf, but after he says your pacemaker looks fine, we have a nice little conversation about where we've been playing golf. This time he said, "Randy, your blood pressure is a little higher than it's ever been when you've been in here since 2007. He says, "Anything going on in your life, new in the last 6 months?" I said, "Well, yeah, I've got my first full-time job, because when I was in the consulting side of things, I was just part-time." And I said, I now have the first full-time job that I've had in, since 2002. And he said, "Well, is your boss mean to you?" And I said, "Well, actually, I've got 11 bosses." And he said, "Well, no wonder you got high blood pressure." And I said, "No, they're all good bosses." So I have noticed, since I told them that, they actually have been a little nicer to me, though. So, all right, let me fire this up. Okay. You probably already know a little bit about this commission with Mayor Rico being one of my 11 bosses. But this is basically the same presentation that I've been giving all up and down the Front Range.
That mic on? Down here.
I'm just not talking. Okay. This commission was actually formed in 2017, became effective with the passage of Senate Bill 153. This commission replaced the previous Southwest Chief Commission. That commission basically was created back in 2014 to, as Mayor Rico said, to try to create an entity within Colorado to work with our neighboring states of Kansas and New Mexico to keep Amtrak Southwest Chief running through southeast Colorado. This commission is housed under CDOT, even though the commission, is sort of a separate entity, similar to the Bridge Enterprise and the High Performance Transportation Enterprise, separate boards that also operate within CDOT, but do not report to the Colorado Transportation Commission. As I said, I have 11 bosses, 5 are appointed by the governor, 2 Class 1 railroad representatives, both BNSF and UP are representatives on the commission, 2 advocates for passenger rail. One of those is Jim Suby. He's the head of the Colorado chapter of the National Passenger Railway Association. The other is former Speaker of the House, Sal Pace from Pueblo. Then there's a resident from Huerfano, Los Animas, Otero, Prowers, and Pueblo counties. That individual is Rick Klein, who is also very active in leading efforts to save the Southwest Chief. Then we have a member from each of the 4 Front Range MPOs, Metropolitan Planning Organizations. That's the Becky Carrasco from the North Front Range MPO, Jacob Rieger from the Denver Regional Council of Governments, Jill Gabler. Jill is our chair. She's a city councilwoman in Colorado Springs, and Terry Hart from Pueblo MPO, and Mayor Rico from South Central Council of Governments. Lastly, we have one representative from the Regional Transportation District in Denver. Then there are 3 non-voting members. A gentleman named David Krutzinger from Colorado DOT, a representative from Amtrak, and the head of the chamber in Cheyenne, Wyoming, Dale Steenbergen. Is to work to preserve the Southwest Chief all across southeastern Colorado. We've made a lot of headway. This commission started in 2014 and have gone through several iterations of federal grants. The newest opportunity is what is known as the 2019 Build Grant. It's similar to the Tiger grants that you might have heard of, but it's just the latest iteration of that. And Mayor Rico has volunteered the City of Trinidad to be the sponsor of this upcoming grant. We'll be submitting that to federal US DOT in the middle of July. So the goal of that is to attempt to get a $25 million grant from the feds to continue to upgrade the tracks of the Southwest Chief.
Can you speak closer to the microphone?
Sorry. A little closer to my work here. A couple other things that have happened in regard to the Southwest Chief, and some of the Commission's major purposes are to extend the chief on into Pueblo instead of going directly from La Junta to Trinidad. Amtrak did a study back in 2016, and they said they believe there would be enough ridership on that car, basically just adding a car onto the chief that would be disconnected at La Junta and go on into westbound into Pueblo in the afternoon, and then that car would turn around and go back out to La Junta in the evening the next day. So that's a really exciting opportunity. And just in the last couple of months, Amtrak and a group of the commissioners have decided, well, if that train would be profitable just going into Pueblo, think of what it would be like in terms of Amtrak's ridership if they could go on up to Colorado Springs. With the tourism activity up there, the military installations in El Paso County, so that's pretty exciting. And now you are only 70 miles from going over the hill and into Denver. That creates a whole bunch of additional opportunities for the Southwest Chief and the San Francisco Zephyr, which is the train that goes from Chicago to San Francisco through Denver. You would now have an entirely large amount of brand new city pairs. Currently, if you want to go from Kansas City to Salt Lake City, you got to go all the way to LA, up the coast to San Francisco, and then back to Salt Lake City. So this would just, I can't even imagine the amount of additional ridership that would create for both of those two trains. And then there's certainly also the opportunity to, at that point, once you get into Pueblo, you come straight down through Walsenburg into Trinidad and over Raton Pass, which would open up the entire San Luis Valley to Amtrak service now, with a stop added in Walsenburg. The other, and probably the effort that's going to get the most attention now, is facilitating the development of Front Range passenger rail service. That would connect Fort Collins down the Front Range to Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, and then even perhaps beyond at some point in time when ridership would justify it, you would have more than just the Amtrak train connecting Pueblo to Trinidad. All right, this is a map just showing the Front Range corridor, and the blue line basically suggests that we don't currently know exactly what the alignment might be of the Fort Collins to Pueblo train. It could use the adjacent rights-of-way of the Class 1 UP and BNSF routes, or it could actually be, a possibility that we would put this train in the median of I-25 or in the east or west rights-of-way of the I-25 right-of-way. This map also shows the yellow line, solid yellow line is the current alignment for the Southwest Chief. The yellow dash line is the possible connection of the Chief into Pueblo, down through Walsenburg and to Trinidad. And the red line is the California Zephyr, which connects San Francisco and Chicago through Salt Lake City and Denver. The dark green lines are the various forms of intercity regional bus routes. I know Trinidad is on the list for the new Mustang service that CDOT is operating. I think there are 20 different routes, and I checked last night with the gentleman that basically is in charge of the Mustang program, and he said that Trinidad is one of 20 cities or towns in Colorado that also is eligible for consideration to have Mustang start service at some point in the next couple of years. The new executive director and the governor are very, very supportive of this, and that's why we're going to be seeing some expansion of the bus rider, the Mustang and Outrider service. Why is there renewed interest in passenger rail? Well, for everybody that drives I-25, everybody just knows that congestion is getting almost intolerable, and travel times are increasing, and certainly is less predictable. That's one of the advantages of passenger rail, especially on a shorter route like Pueblo up to Fort Collins. Some people would say Amtrak's not very reliable. Well, that's because it's operating, about 1,400 mile corridors, and there's a lot of things that can slow you up in that corridor. But more of a commuter kind of service up and down the Front Range would be very dependable in terms of when you leave and when you're going to get to your destination. Colorado's population grew by 2.2 million people in the last 26 years. Fort Collins Pueblo corridor has increased 83.5% of the state's 5.6 million population. And that corridor is expected to gain 84% of the additional 3 million residents to the state in the next 30 years. Population 65 and over. Linda said 68 was old. That's what my kids tell me, because I'm 68 too. So, and I tell them they better hope they have a chance to get old. Some of you in this room probably are in the same boat. But the elderly population are those that will be very willing to and look forward to being able to ride a train to Denver or Pueblo or Fort Collins. And it's the younger ones that really believe that, I know all of us in this room probably remember having the opportunity to get your driver's license. That was about the greatest thing since sliced bread, was getting that driver's license. A lot of young kids today aren't interested in getting a driver's license. I know a lot of us have trouble believing that, but that's another advantage to trains. Kids are going to not be married to their cars the way we are, and they're going to love being able to be on that train and messing with their cell phone. Okay, here's a slide that shows potential ridership and alignments. The purple line is the Mustang routes that currently exist up and down the Front Range. That route is going to be extended from Springs on down to Pueblo here in the near future. They're just now in the process of locating the stations where the Mustang ride will end in Pueblo. But these are the travel times, an hour and 25 minutes from Fort Collins to Denver, 2 hours and 15 minutes from Denver to Springs, and then anticipated around another hour down to, that doesn't make sense. Because that bus shouldn't take an hour to go from Springs to Pueblo. But needless to say, the Department of Transportation is now in interstate bus service and has spent $200 million since its inception back in 2017, and has also carried 200,000 riders. Comparing that to commuter rail up and down the Front Range, this would be using existing freight railway rights-of-way. From Fort Collins, you'd be going down the BNSF into Denver, and then the joint corridor operated both by UP and BNSF between Denver and Pueblo. The numbers on the right are a study that was done back in 2012, and those numbers, you can see these are very fast travel times, but that's because the train that was modeled in that study was operating at 180 miles an hour. That obviously, a lot of people say, you really need to go 180 miles an hour when you basically have 3 60-mile segments here. Fort Collins to Denver International Airport, the airport down to the Springs, and then the Springs to Pueblo. That will be modeled in a study we're going to be doing here pretty soon, where we're going to look at all speeds of rail. 80 mile an hour, which is pretty much what the blue line would be. We have as a background the 180-mile study shown on red, but obviously, as you can see, the faster you go, the more expensive it is. It'd be $15.3 billion to have that 180-mile-an-hour train, and that obviously would follow almost entirely either I-25 right-of-way from Pueblo to the end of E-470 at the south end of the metro area, around 470 to the north end of the metro area, and then up I-25 to Fort Collins. Traditional speed, 80 mile an hour, blue line would be about $5 billion. Obviously, none of this would be built out all at once. We'd start with different kinds of phasing, and the study that we're going to be doing here in the very near future will be looking at those two alternatives and then other design variations from that. This is a new concept that CDOT is looking at to possibly become the stations for the alignments if the I-25 alignment is built. This is currently being designed at the intersection of US 34 and I-25 up just west or just east of Loveland. What this design is including is that they're adding what you might have heard of as managed lanes. Managed lane in an interstate isn't for general purpose traffic. It's sort of like a toll lane, but you don't have to use it. You don't have to pay a toll. If the congestion is so bad, you can get in this toll lane and go something much closer to the existing highway speeds. So you can see down there on the left where the circle is in the center, the Mustang buses, intercity buses from Fort Collins down to Denver would operate in that left lane of the interstate, and then at junctions like this, they would pull into the center, and that would be the station. And there are walkways you can see coming off of both sides where they'll shopping, the Centera Shopping Center, anybody that's familiar with that, up right adjacent to I-25 is on the right, and then there's a business park that's being built on the left, and that would parlay right into that center median mobility hub. If in fact the bus system proves successful and the design alignment is chosen as I-25, that bus station, center station would be converted into a rail station. And CDOT's executive director is very committed to building these all the way up and down I-25, probably from at least Fort Collins down to Pueblo. Okay, and here's some of the accomplishments that the commission did back in 2018. The Tiger Grant that was hosted by Colfax County, just over the hill here, participated in a $16 million Tiger Grant. Colorado DOT was part of this. A lot of the communities. Mayor, was Trinidad one of the provides a local match?
Yes, we did.
I think it was 12,500. This was a great partnership with these three states. State DOTs have been putting in $1 million, and the local communities, a lot of them have put in 12,500. This money went to some continuing to phase out the 60-year-old bolted rail, turnouts and at-grade crossing surfaces in the three states. Some of this money also went for some system upgrades to the signal systems on New Mexico's Rail Runner from Santa Fe down to Albuquerque. On May 31st, the commission was successful in receiving $2.5 million cash from the state legislature last year. That money went for part of it, $1.5 million, and the $2 million went to this upcoming study that we're going to be doing, and staffing, and then the funding that the commission puts into matching these federal grants. Then in December, the commission again was part of a consortium with Kansas to get $9.16 million in the Chrissy grant to upgrade the positive train control track on 179 miles of the track between Dodge City and Los Angeles. And that is part of what would be required. That positive train control would need to be added to the track from La Junta to Pueblo for that three-car service into Pueblo to take place. Then also in 2018, they announced the position for the job that I was selected for on November 1st. We had interviews on the 22nd, and we got a call from the chair of the commission asking if I'd like to take on that job. And we're now in the process also of, in fact, tomorrow I've got an interview with 6 different individuals to get some additional staff support, because Mayor Rico just keeps pouring more work on us. Thanks. Seriously, thanks.
Can you kind of recap just a little briefly?
Okay.
A couple more minutes.
Okay. These are the elements of the planning study that we're going to do. Look at the number of trains, pick the final alignment. There'll be lots of public meetings up and down the corridor, so we'll be probably having some opportunities to have somebody down here host meetings for us either later this summer. We're supposed to get our consultant on board in early August, so we're getting close to being able to start the public involvement process. And I think it'll be pretty interesting for all of you to attend. This study will also determine, is this going to be an Amtrak train? Would it be a BNSF train or a private operator? The goal is to try to have a, on the 2020 ballot, a few months from a year from now, this will be the same election as the presidential election, will be to try to get the Front Range voters to determine what would the boundaries of this district be. Would it be a regional transportation authority, a rail district, or something like that? Commission's current activities, created this logo. That was an interesting exercise, Mayor, trying to get 11 people to agree on lots of different unique designs for a logo. We are working with Amtrak on that extension of the La Junta to Pueblo to Colorado Springs train. They're in the process of applying for that $25 million build grant, and the commission holds its meetings monthly up and down the Front Range. One meeting will be in Denver, and then the next meeting is somewhere else up and down the Front Range. Pueblo is gonna be hosting the meeting in August, so that would put you pretty much in line there for maybe the October meeting. Why would you build Front Range passenger rail? Just to provide choices for mobility up and down the Front Range. Certainly we'll start with some type of starter rail as opposed to full build out right from the get-go. You really do need to have connections to your local transit systems when you get to the station in the cities up and down the Front Range. And we want to make sure that, you know, if and when, not be 50 years out from now, but if and when there's ever really high-speed trains across the U.S. like there are in Europe and China and Japan, that the design of the Colorado network doesn't preclude us from hooking into those higher speed networks. All right, stop right there. Any questions? Yes?
Oh, it's me. I look at your map, and it shows that Trinidad is slated to only get 1,000 people in growth. So obviously we're not gonna build a train. But what if we built the train, then we get more people coming here? If build it and they will come. If the train comes here, then we get the population and people moving here and building our economy. But if you wait for us to have the people, it's not gonna come unless the train comes.
We what? I'm sorry?
If you wait for us to get the people, then your train's never gonna come here.
Well, we're doing all we can to connect Trinidad up to Pueblo. Right now, your only connection on rail is out to La Junta. And I know there's a lot of people that do that, but I think we can get a lot more people coming down here, you know, if we can connect the Front Range, the larger cities in the Front Range.
So what are the chances it'll come here?
I think
Okay, we're gonna do the door prize.
it's got a very good chance of coming here if we can get it into Pueblo. Yes.
Are you collaborating at all with the Hyperloop initiative, which also will cover Pueblo to Cheyenne?
No, that actually is kind of losing steam.
Is it?
Yep. CDOT was going to be sort of a partner in a partnership with Hyperloop, and the new administration has ended that. We want to focus on more traditional. Now from down here up to Cheyenne, Hyperloop would make sense at that kind of a distance. But again, something going 600 miles an hour. We talked about the 180 mile an hour passenger train probably being faster than it needs to be for the Colorado Front Range, but 600 mile an hour Hyperloop. My guess is that it's going to be a long time before people want to put people in a Hyperloop. I would guess that it's going to be utilized for freight purposes. I just can't imagine the acceleration and deceleration, and you're going to almost need to be, in my mind, strapped into that thing like a Disneyland ride. We'll see. We'll see.
Randy, I'd like to thank you very much.
Thank
Okay, we've got some door prizes that we're going to be drawing for, and the first name is Anne. So what is this one from, Nisha?
Purple toad.
The purple toad.
This is from the Triggers.
Okay,
Nick Martin.
so Nick, you have won tickets for the Triggers. Jeff, you have won tickets to Peaks Restaurant. Cindy, you have tickets to the Kiwanis Club of Trinidad for a lucky duck. Jerry. Who's Jerry?
Jerry with the J.
Jerry.
Jerry with the J or Jerry with the G?
J-E-R-R-Y.
Which one is that?
It's boy Jerry.
Well, what is the number? What's your number?
I'm not Jerry.
412? 429? That's over there. Okay, Jerry.
I did it for you.
Melissa.
Melissa, you have won tickets to the Purple Toad. Hey KJ, you have a lucky duck from the Kiwanis. Okay, this is the last one. Choose another one.
Oh, Miss Polly.
Holly. So she's got tickets to Oli's Restaurant at La Quinta. Thank you all for coming. I want to take a quick moment though to say thank you to Sodexo for the nice lunch that they prepared. I'd like to thank Tom Murphy for being here and recording our wonderful event, and the Chronicle and the World Journal. Thank you very much for participating.
You can take the wine with you. One per person, and please, make sure you are 21 or older. Thank you.
So also, the board members have a